meals. A teacher says, thanks to Fun Fitness Kids Club for always making our health and fitness day fun. An event coordinator, they had a blast with us at Kermit Park, and we brought the fun fitness and we made the magic come alive. And then a parent, thank you for making my daughter's first birthday party one to remember. Your communication, the setup process was easy. We come, we deliver, we set up, clean up, and break it up. So we do it all for the parents. And we cannot forget the kids. Young Luke here in Ravenswood, he had so much fun playing on the Fun Fitness bus that he was running, jumping, and sweating, and he was really having fun with fitness. Then we have Jessica, she's 12, from Charleston, who had a good time with our obstacle course, and she never even participated in any sports, but she won our obstacle course, and she won a gift card, and it gave her confidence. And then Cam Taylor from Logan, he did our obstacle course challenge, and it gave him more confidence to try out for his school basketball team. So our impact on youth, since inception, we have done over 78 community events. We've done over 96 private parties. We do baby Zumba, 0 to 4, Mommy and Me, Zumbini. And we've done over 32 events with that. And our obstacle course challenge, we've done over 44 of those. So it was estimated that we've reached over 50,000 youth since our inception. Now we have room for growth, and this is where we have it. Primarily during our weekday events. We want to get into the schools. We want to get into the after-school programs even more, specifically with our obstacle course challenge and our soft play toddler zone. We have room for growth with our marketing, with our website. Right now, we talk with people. We have a lot of great one-on-one communication, but we want to be able to streamline that and make our process more efficient and effective. And we also want to grow and have satellite offices in other parts of the state. We have jobs, we have events, we have internships that we can do with our social medias, and we can expand. So we're really ready to ignite West Virginia. So today, we have been profitable since we first started, but we are a startup looking to maintain our position in the market, and these funds will help us grow with our website, with our staffing, soft play equipment, obstacle course equipment, insurance, and marketing. $44,600 is what we are asking for today. And hey, if you don't give it to us, guess what? We're still going to do what we do. We're going to bring the fun through our community partners. All these people have helped us be in the community, working our mission to help curb the obesity rate in the state. So here we are, Fun Fitness Kids Club. Follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, all that good stuff, because we can bring the fun to you.
I love your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're successful. Can you talk to me about, as you grow and how you scale in terms of your margins that you're making? I'm having a hard time understanding how this type of business could scale and be more profitable as it grows.
Well, specifically with satellite markets in satellite areas throughout the state, we have people in Martinsburg and in Morgantown and in southern West Virginia that work with us. This one lady in Martinsburg wants to have a bus in Martinsburg, and so we're trying to figure out how we can even do that. So it's about expanding our reach, keep doing what we're doing, but be able to bring it into other parts of the state and have people that are our partners that are in that location to continue to work with us in Charleston, and we all have the same mission to help curb the obesity rate in West Virginia.
Great presentation, great idea, great mission.
Thank you.
Having some challenge connecting the mission of reducing obesity to episodic efforts. And to respond to Nancy's question, scale may not be in episodic kinds of rentals, but in permanent programming.
Okay.
And could you talk about both of those?
Oh, absolutely. As far as permanent programming, specifically with the schools, the after-school programs, the daycares, the camps, any individual, any company, any organization that has children, we have a curriculum. We have an obstacle course challenge. We have what is proven and tried and true to burn calories and make kids more physically active and have fun doing it. And that's the key to do it. You know, we want to continue to decrease the obesity rate, all through fun. We want to do things where they don't even know that they're working out. That's just like I said, little Luke, 7 years old, he was in the Fun Fitness bus for an hour and a half, sweating. His mother had to pull him out because he's just playing. So it's those types of things where you got to be innovative, you got to be creative, and you got to think outside the box on ways to get your mission into the hands of the kids.
Curious to know who you think your competition is.
Our competition so far has been all the little startups that pop up and they see what we do and they try to do what we do, but they can't do what what we do because they're not us. We bring customer service, we bring the energy, we bring our commitment to our mission. We bring us to the table. So even though there's another, this is why I said we are the first mobile soft play business, because there's one that just popped up in Beckley. They're not us. They don't do what we do. They don't have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, all that good stuff that we have. And so we stand out because we are who we are and we love what we do.
So you flashed up some numbers up there for us. Can you provide those to us? Or we can, maybe somebody take a picture of them or something, so we'll have those.
Let's see here. There we
you
go.
I see someone's doing that for us. Just one comment. You could potentially be a Vacation Bible School director's dream. Just think about that, okay?
Thank you. Yes. Any Vacation Bible schools here, please give us a call.
Again, the ask, 10,000 for 2 part-time people. Are you asking for enough to scale your business? And it seems that equipment and people will be your big costs here. And is this enough?
Well, honestly, no, it's not enough, because we have a $50,000 school bus that was just for starters. But what this is, it could get us to the next level. Because of our experience in this I-Corps, we were able to break down who our customer segment is: parents, teachers, and educators. And this will help us with the parents, the teachers, and the educators, and the event coordinators specifically. We want to be very specific. We need new obstacle course equipment. We need updated obstacle course equipment. We need updated soft play equipment. This is equipment that ages 0 to 4 play on. So they'll come in there with their little juice boxes and candy and equipment. So we got to stay clean. We got to stay sanitized. We got to stay fresh. So no, we're not asking for enough, but we are asking for enough to help get us to the next level and ignite West Virginia.
Of all the costs that you're carrying, how much is fixed cost compared to your variable cost? Give me a percentage.
Maybe 25, 30%.
25 is fixed?
That means it's standard, like our insurance, our storage, all that good stuff.
Anything?
Well, maybe 40%. We've got, like I said, we got the bus, we've got things that we just have to pay for, especially insurance, premium, inspections, taxes, all these things that just come with being a small business. And then, like I said, things like our ball pit, where we have 7,000 balls in a ball pit, where we're always constantly ordering new equipment. So our budget continues to expand and grow and to evolve.
I have a question for you. Exciting presentation. Thank you for your energy.
Thank you.
Thinking about your business model, looking at your collaboration partners, it seems to me they'll be important to you in the success of your enterprise as the state focuses on obesity. What does your model contemplate in terms of how much revenue would come from your collaboration partners, some of those you put up on the screen, and how much would come from your commercial market? Do you have a plan on that?
Well, I don't have a plan, but what we were able to determine as a result of this I-Corps is that we always thought that our main customer base was the parent. But now we understand that it is the event coordinator. I mean, we were doing events like Regatta, Multifest, Holly Jolly Brawley, all these events that are in the community. So these community partners, they continue to grow. As we meet one partner, we meet another. So our business is ever evolving, it's expanding, and we are continuing to meet people on a daily basis, and all we want to do is bring the fun and fitness for kids. And that's the bottom line.
Thank you.
I think this is another example of where considering a 501c3 might be helpful, because if you really embrace that mission about decreasing obesity in the state, I think there could be a lot of funding and grant money out there for you and other partnerships that could help you.
Thank you. And just
But you could also,
well, to throw
take a
that in there.
salary out of it. But you,
Well,
but
we
I
have
think
a
you could-
nonprofit. We do, and it's
Oh, you
called
do?
the Fun Fitness Foundation. We removed the word kids from it because West Virginia has the highest adult obesity rate. So the foundation wants to be able to provide fun with fitness for kids and adults too. And the foundation has been very important with helping us get some staffing and funding in the past, but we are an LLC. We are here to make money. We are here to help decrease the obesity rate, and we just work in conjunction with our 501c3.
Give me an elevator. I'm a program coordinator, Sunday school coordinator. Why are you best for me?
Fun Fitness Kids Club will bring the fun to your event. We'll come to your school. We'll come to your after-school program. We'll come to your church. We'll come to your daycare. And we got equipment to focus on ages 0 all the way to 100. So if you have an event, help us help you. Help us help you to bring some fun and fitness to your event.
All right, up next we have Mal's Fresh Produce, and on deck we have Paw Thaws.
Hello, my name is Mallory Moholt, but everyone likes to call me Mal. I'm 24 years old, and thank you for this opportunity to share with you the story of Mal's Fresh Produce. Finding fresh, local, healthy food in Morgantown obviously hasn't always been easy. This was especially true during the pandemic. At a time when we needed it the most, our options were limited. My family was in the produce business, so I knew about the basics of the industry. Using my family's farmer connection in Maryland, I opened my first roadside produce stand, and it was opened every day. The demand was overwhelming, it was extremely positive, and it was very busy. And so busy, I keep running out of change in bags regularly. The 5-hour road trip to source the produce in Maryland obviously wasn't sustainable, so I quickly made connections with my farmers right here in West Virginia. Our community was looking for a place that they could shop fresh, consistent daily products, and a place that they could trust. The vision of opening a local market with even more staple items began to take place immediately within the first 2 weeks of opening my stand. Just a year later, we took our profits and I opened my first brick and mortar store to provide Morgantown with the very best in fresh produce and many other locally produced items, including fresh meat now, wild-caught seafood, sourdough bread, many other canned items, and more. The support from our community grew, even with a dirt floor our first year. And that's when I knew, well, this is just the beginning of Mal's Fresh Produce. Our impact was greater than I initially realized. I learned more about the food insecurity in West Virginia and the connection between poverty and the lack of access to healthy, affordable food and health. And in fact, West Virginia leads the nation in diet-related diseases. Our local farmers market is open only once a week, and it's on Saturday mornings. And sometimes this is a barrier, being only open one day a week for those that want to get there but can't get there during those hours. That's when Mal's come in. These factors lead to many prepackaged goods and processed foods because that is what is accessible and that is what is convenient to these people at the time. Obviously, that's lacking the nutrition that fresh food carries, which we all need to survive and feel good daily. At Mal's, we are relentless in our mission to making fresh, local, healthy food accessible daily. And through our unwavering commitment to supporting our local farmers and producers, We promote better health outcomes for all, and we are trying to combat food insecurity. What makes us different? We meet our customers where they are. We are open every day, making fresh food accessible daily. We are open in multiple locations, making it convenient for public transportation and everyone else coming home from work. All locations welcome EBT WIC and this year's SNAP. We extend our wholesale pricing as the most affordable option, and our grab and go will make it even easier to make healthy choices. We are not just a little roadside produce stand, as you all know. We operate 4 and this year 5 busy locations, serving thousands of people weekly. And people rely on us and me to show up daily to eat fresh food. We have grown tremendously from year 1 to year 4 with a growth of 818% in sales. And I have employed over 20 local individuals and this year many students. We have over 3,500 people signed up under our loyalty program, and the majority of our customers, they return to shop with us weekly. This year will be our biggest year yet. We'll be opening another roadside location, expanding our storefront, wholesaling to restaurants and families, offering convenient grab-and-go options with our imperfect produce, providing professional sales and service training to our staff. We're expanding our reach to our users that use EBT WIC and SNAP, and we're doing some produce subscription boxes to some neighborhoods as a trial run this year. Our company has barely been able to keep up with the demand using the operation equipment that we have had access to. We are feeding more people than my little van and my little cooler can hold, and that's why I need your help. Just in order to meet the current demand, we need $42,000 for a walk-in cooler for proper refrigeration space and a box truck to get to all 5 locations daily, and an enclosed trailer to be able to go and get that produce from the farm and bring it back to town. To expand even more of the reach of our community, we need funds to purchase our tents and displays for our Star City location. We need refrigerations. Thank you guys so much for your consideration. We are more than just a produce stand, we are a movement, and I would love to answer any questions that you all have for me.
I'll go first.
Hi.
Great job.
Thank
great
you.
presentation. Great idea. Great mission.
Thank
great
you.
stuff. Feels like a hub, spokes, node kind of approach. Expansion.
Yes.
At this point, make the case that expansion is better than what I see as strengthening the hub is the priority
Absolutely.
here. Talk about that.
So, I mean, our hub is on Old Cheat Road, right? So that is where our cooler is. It's where we bring all the produce back every day. And so that's where our shed is. That's what I plan to insulate. Is that kind of the question that you were asking me?
It really is, because you talked about expansion, and sometimes we get out ahead and the hub is weak.
Okay, so for this year, expanding my storefront looks like adding a lean-on building, or a lean-on to my building, which creates 30 feet additional space in order to be able to put, so I have when you walk in, it's like a little carport building, and it's a 25 by 30. I put a lean-on in the front of it it created like another 20 feet out, and then now we're going to be expanding on the other side, because last year we didn't even have enough space to put all the produce out. So this year we're going to even have more space there. But the main thing here is we need to be able to operate, and we need to be able to cool this produce, and we need to be able to get it to our locations every day. And that's the main things that we do to operate efficiently every day. Yes.
Great job, Mel.
Thanks.
Question that I have for you is, of all the items that you carry, what's the percentage of those items that become perishable that you can't sell, and what do you do with them?
So this year, we're going to be using that imperfect produce. I've set up with the health department, and I have some chefs. We're going to be taking that produce daily, and then we're going to be selling it with what we cook it with. So that way, because we've had to throw away quite a bit of produce that we can't sell that might have a bruise on it, or, you know, this and that. Usually I've donated it to other farmers for their animals, but that's not very a profitable way. So
What's the percentage of the groceries that you carry? That of course this will impact.
I would
will
say,
impact
like-
your bottom line, obviously.
I would say like 10% maybe can go. Like, you know, it's got to be perfect looking, else I ain't grabbing it.
And is that cost built into your revenue stream? Are you
It is.
getting that
It's
somewhere
all
else?
built
like-
in. It's
like-
expected in the industry as well. To, you know, we're gonna have some loss.
So they're reflected in your margins, your existing margins already?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I have a question for you, Mal, if I
Yep.
can. I didn't want to jump ahead, I'm sorry. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for your energy and your entrepreneurship. I'd encourage you to continue to innovate. You're trying the boxes and some other things, and you're looking for ways to expand. And so I encourage you to do that, to see what works and what doesn't work.
Thank you.
My question to you is, understanding your business a little bit better, where does your food come from? What's your relationship to the farmers markets? And are most of your customers individual families and consumers picking up some fresh food, or do you have other means of distribution?
So we serve everybody. Everybody wants to buy from Mal's. So I mean, I'm trying. So there's restaurants that want to buy from us. I've tried getting into like the hospitals, but it's a little iffy. The stands are majority of where we do our business at. That is really what carries our business, is just how busy those stands are with people going through town. What was that one other question you
I was just
asked?
curious where your food comes from,
So the
and
food-
are the farmers markets competitors
So-
or friends?
So the farmers markets were all very friendly. They know, you know, people, if they can't get to the farmers market, they know to go to Mal's. These farmers out at the farmers market, if they have excess produce, they know to call me. I'll buy it. And where the produce is coming from. So when we first start out, I just opened. We had over 1,200 people show up at my grand opening day. It was nuts. And I'm sourcing right now, obviously, to get started I'm sourcing from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. And as soon as that produce becomes abundantly available local, I purchase it. I let everyone know, and I'm very transparent about where it's coming from when we first start out. A lot of my farmers are in Romney. I have a very good relationship with, you know, Eli Cook, and they're the big Romney farmers. And I work with the Amish as well. And any farmer who has green beans, tomatoes, they all just come to me, even if it's just a home farmer. As long as the produce looks good and it tastes good, I'll get it. And I mean, depending on you know, how it's grown. We do offer organic, and then we also have stuff that isn't organic as well. Yep.
So Mal, what's your operating season?
So we operate from April until about November, and if you're watching this live, if you want to grow some food, I'm looking for some farmers that can be able to provide to us so we can be open year-round. It's just we need to be able to source that produce during the winter to be able to stay opened.
And could you quickly describe your loyalty program to me?
Absolutely. So the loyalty program, you come in and you're checking out, and then you say, my employee will say, "Are you a part of our loyalty program?" Nope. Okay, put in your phone number. So now as soon as you start shopping with us, say you spend $40, you get $5 off. So you just start getting points, and it really develops that relationship between me and my neighbors, you know, to be able to keep getting discounts, you know, knowing that they're shopping with us.
So I see you're doing some value-added products. Are
Yes.
you working in your produce to cut down on your loss to go into these products that you can process? And do you have a kitchen where you do that, or is there a community kitchen?
I have a family that processes our goods down in Virginia. That is a private label. I do not use my produce to inside those jar items. They do have farms on the site where they are sourcing local to package it. So that's why I have to come up with this other way to be able to process the imperfect produce. Yes.
Tell us about the product.
So the product, you want to hold in. Let me grab that salsa. Okay, you gotta wrap it up. Okay. Okay, we gotta go. Okay, so tomatoes, onions, vinegar, bell peppers, sugar, jalapeno peppers, cilantro, garlic, and citric acid. That's a clean product, and that's what I want to sell. So I love this. I love them, and I hope you guys can all make it over to Mal's, where it
Up next, we have Paw Thaws, and on deck, we have Pine Room Studios, LLC.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gehring, and I am here today with Paw Thaws, and this is my sister Dallas. Paw Thaws is a premium frozen pet treats made from locally sourced and natural ingredients, promoting good health for digestion and to help combat seasonal allergies. Paw Thaws actually started when my sister Dallas got her golden doodle. At around 6 months old, Luca started chewing on her paws, so she decided to take her to the vet, and the vet told her that it was likely caused by seasonal allergies. The treatment options for her were either a monthly injection, a daily oral pill, or a topical ointment. She decided that the most feasible option was to do the pill. However, it was costing about $100 a month. So she decided to start researching to see if there was a better and more affordable way to treat these allergies. According to the American Pet Products Association, approximately 30 to 40% of dogs and 10 to 20% of cats will suffer from seasonal allergies. Out of all of the health issues that pets have, 60% of those issues end up being caused by digestive problems. Paw Thaws uses safe, organic, and locally sourced fresh produce that contains antioxidants and healthy fibers with no added fillers to create a healthier and more affordable option. Paw Thaws uses pet-friendly, organic, locally fresh ingredients. We also use the bee pollen, and our research has shown that the bee pollen helps build a tolerance to the seasonal allergies. According to American Pet Products, the pet industry is growing rapidly. In 2023 alone, there was approximately $144 being spent on pets, with $63 billion being from the pet foods and $69 billion being from the vet visits and medications. As the pet industry continues to grow, Paw Thaws is positioned to capitalize on this high demand. Limited competition in the frozen pet treat market gives Paw Thaws an edge. Unlike Frosty Paws, Dogsters, and Boss Dogs, we source locally and offer a unique solution against fighting seasonal local allergies. We conducted several customer interviews, and what we found was that most of the customers had very strong attachments to their pets. The ones without kids decided that they noticed more issues with their pets. 80% of them decided they were going to buy based on what the vet suggested. 75% prioritized the actual nutrition and quality and read the ingredient labels. One of the biggest pains that the customer had was when they were looking at the ingredients, they couldn't hardly find anything that was natural and didn't have all those additives in it. Our plan for taking this to market is to work with local produce shops such as Mouse, local pet stores, dog groomers, and veterinarians that we could sell at a wholesale price. We also plan to attend local pet-friendly events such as doggy pool parties and such, and work with farmers markets to sell there as like a vendor. With our social media being very prevalent in today's society, we plan using several social media platforms to grow our business. Paw Thaws is currently being made in her apartment. Due to space and storage restrictions, we are only able to make about 50 at a time. This also limits how much raw materials we can purchase to make the product because we don't have the storage space for the bulk materials, which would significantly cut on costs. This is especially difficult in the warmer months because we don't have enough freezers to be able to transport our product. With our limitations, our current profit margin is only at like 44%. Today we are asking for $40,000. $40,000 would help us with 12 months rent for a commercial kitchen, several freezers and refrigerators, industrial blenders, prep tables, portable freezers, and it would also help us cover our product costs. As of right now, our space and storage is the biggest setback in cost, followed by our manufacturing costs due to not being able to buy in bulk. By gaining the ability to produce and store more product, we would be able to increase our profit margin to 70%. The ability to have the product would help us be able to meet the growing demand in this market, and it would also help us be able to safely transport our product to our point of sales. Thank you, Ignite West Virginia, for this opportunity to pitch Paul Thalls. At Paul Thalls, all Pauls are welcome, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
So, great job. Thank you for being here. When I went through your deck and your documents that you provided, I struggled with one thing, which is how can your business scale efficiently? And I want to put the emphasis on efficiently. That means if you're sourcing locally and you want to grow, that means the number of your providers is going to grow exponentially. In every market, you're going to have providers in that market. So how are you going to manage your growth with that complexity that you're sourcing from every market you're gonna enter? So I struggle with that unless I get something wrong.
No, you're not wrong on that. So right now we're trying to stay local to Morgantown area. We can go out to about Wheeling area, Washington, PA, and down into like Fairmont, Clarksburg. Eventually what we're going to do is we're starting off with premium frozen pet treats, and then we'll eventually move into like a Chipotle style frozen raw food. So moving into like a more of a brick and mortar.
We would also get with whatever area, because the bee pollen is what makes it so, that helps build the tolerance to allergies. So the only thing that we would really have to source from whatever area we're selling in is that local bee pollen, because that's what helps build their tolerance to the different allergies. So it'd just be a matter of shopping in the area we're looking for.
Great job. Couple of questions. One, licensing hurdles, regulatory hurdles. Talk more about that. Secondly, how do you know the pets like this? And third, is the blend proprietary? In other words, only you know the secrets, and how does that connect to the pets liking it and regulatory hurdles as well? Talk about that.
We have started through the regulatory process, right? Our next step that we have to go through is the guaranteed analysis, and then we can go through and get through the Department of Agriculture and actually get everything certified. But we can't do anything really until we have that guaranteed analysis at this point.
We're also in the pilot testing phase right now. So for each guaranteed analysis that we run, that comes from each product. Each flavor has to be ran, whether we're doing a 4-ounce cup, a 5-ounce cup for a bigger pet. Each one of those has to be ran. So we're in that pilot testing phase on nailing down those proprietary blends. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily proprietary. There's really nothing special other than the fact that we're not a big, huge manufacturing. We're using local bee pollen, local produce, like a human would.
Don't ever say there's nothing special about your business. It is special.
Just curious, if this thaws before I get home, can I refreeze it for my dog?
You could lick it. It's human grade.
I think I'll avoid that. So if you decide that if you get what you're asking for and the equipment to do this with, Can you source it now, or do you have to go outside your area to do it?
We can source some of it with like the blueberry farms, the strawberry farms. We're trying to pick more produce that is kind of local to West Virginia, but also with these freezers, we'll be able to freeze some product that's out of season for those winter months. But like in the fall, we're using pumpkin, sweet potato, things that are grown here in West Virginia, and then we can utilize those in other seasons.
So my question is a little bit similar to what I think you asked just a moment ago. I was thinking the same question about intellectual property. Do you have a special product that you need to get intellectual protection on, proprietary process? Maybe I heard you say no, but I would think about that. I was curious, you commented a little bit on competition. I think the market is infinite in a sense for this sort of thing. It seems to me your challenge will be scale and competition. And maybe what you talked about a little bit was the part of the niche that you've carved out is all natural. But just talk a little bit about your competition, or is the plan to get it to a certain scale and then sell for $1 billion?
Our Paul Thaws are made from yogurt, and we've been talking with local vets to make sure that that is the best ingredient that will start, like, that's actually good for dogs' digestive system.
And compared to other competitors, our fat content is very low compared to competitors. We're also using lactose-free yogurt that's organically sourced. So a lot different than the competitors right now. A huge issue with the competitors right now that I had saw whenever I was giving my dog these as well was that she was gaining a tremendous amount of weight in a little bit of time. But she loved them, so I wanted her to be able to eat that. And the licking stimulation helped her with her anxiety as well. So there's other benefits outside of just eating a treat. The health benefit, the licking stimulation for anxiety.
So you mentioned brick and mortar. That's what you want to move toward, that you would only sell out of the brick and mortar, or would you distribute wholesale to other retailers?
I would distribute to wholesale to other retailers as well. But the long-term way down the line would be a brick and mortar in Morgantown, but also have my manufacturing to where I can source it out to like Wheeling, West Virginia, or Clarksburg, West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay. And yeah, and a frozen product is difficult with distribution. That just
Yes.
complicates it, being in the food business myself. But have you thought about something that's more shelf stable that would work?
So freezing is a challenge, but if you go into non-frozen foods, the shelf life for that's about 6 months. We're gaining that to up to a year. Our shelf life is a year, so you can keep them in your deep freezer for a year. So that's playing in our favor.
You can also lose some of the nutritional value when you dehydrate the foods versus having it fresh, because frozen keeps a lot of those nutrients. Thank you.
All right, up next we have Pine Room Studios, LLC.
Check, check. Check, check. I think we're good.
Check, check. This one's off.
You back on.
Check, check.
Check.
Ball game.
A group of local guys have started to gain traction with a podcast. What started as a simple podcast is quickly becoming a local legend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Campbell, and this is Jub and Jared Delbrook. We're co-founders of the Pine Room Studios, LLC, a multimedia production company located out of Wheeling, West Virginia. What started out as a simple podcast drawing has quickly turned into something much larger. Over the last year, we pushed all of our chips into the middle and doubled down as content creators as we take pride in being able to find customers who are eager to grow their business. We take pride and finding innovative, multifaceted, and dynamic ways to go after our businesses. We offer a proven and profitable product as we have 3 podcasts, 7 hours of live radio, multiple brand deals, merchandise, and ongoing live events. This ship would not continue to row if it wasn't for our team. All 8 co-founders have a specific role in our company that allow us to prosper. We understood that there was an opportunity in the customer experience industry as soon as we started to release content. We realized how many great businesses were underutilizing their creative opportunities. Small businesses such as the Ohio Valley Pickleball Club, existing brands like Big Timber Brewing, large companies like Ogilvy Resort, you name it, we'll find a way to set ourselves apart. And everything that we have to offer, we are not a product or a service. We are a brand that is making a difference with everybody that we come into contact with. Here's what we're proud about. Over the last year, West Virginia businesses in the Pine Room Studios, we take pride in being able to say that we impacted over $93,000 in revenue for West Virginia businesses.
Companies are always trying to find new and creative ways to push their product and their business. And whether it's through podcast, radio, social media, or simply word of mouth, we cover all those channels. The Pine Room thrives because of our execution and constant innovation of the content that we put out. And it's through that content that we not only help ourselves as a business succeed, but the businesses that we work alongside with do as well. In 2023, we generated $19,000 of revenue in our first full year as an LLC, as we launched new brand deals, expanded our time on the radio, and set foundation and footwork for a profitable 2024. And in just the first quarter of this year alone, we've generated over $10,700 of revenue with multiple brand partnerships on the horizon and customers waiting and eager for 2024. And in that time, we're expecting a 193% increase in revenue. You see, in our industry of content creation and multimedia production, we are focused on market and social trends. And with that said, an exciting 2024 is ahead of us as small businesses are always looking to expand their marketing efforts and budget, with the customer experience industry set to reach $14 billion this year.
And we are in an exciting position because we have multiple customer channels. The market that is currently spending money with us and the market that consumes and follows the content that we create. Over the past year, we have seen a massive increase in our following as a result of our consistency and execution in the content that we create. We are pleased with our demographic and can't wait to see what markets we can tap into in the coming year. Now, going back to our roots of the university that all 8 co-founders graduated from, we are excited to have students join us to help with day-to-day operations and gain real-world experience, with plans to expand to different universities throughout the state of West Virginia in the coming year.
We are in a prime position to grow, and with everything we've done and everything that we can possibly do, the milestone ask that we're about to propose will not only launch us forward, not in next year, not by the end of the summer, but by right now.
Productivity, quality, innovation. Those are the 3 massive things that come to mind with these milestone asks. With $52,600, we're ready to go to work right now. Milestone 1 allows us to build, furnish, professionally equip a new studio that's located less than 10 feet away from our current 225-foot square office. It allows us to quadruple the space, quadruple the staff, and for our customers, quadruple the content. With Milestone 2, let's get on the road. We love highlighting businesses that we've never worked with. We love getting them involved with our company. It allows us to purchase new mobile equipment, better content for our customers, and it allows for us to be at multiple locations at once. Like any good team, the Pine Room has depth, and right now we can't utilize our full depth. Milestone 3, getting out in front of our customers. Let's create, let's innovate, let's find ways to win. At the end of the day, here's what sets us apart. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? Most companies are going to say yes. We're going to respond with another question. How can we go faster and how can we go farther? Thank you and welcome to the Pine Room.
Hi. Are all 8 co-founders full-time employees?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we all have a specific role within the company, operations, marketing.
100% full-time employees?
Yes, sir, 100%.
Okay, so how can you make the math of supporting 8 co-founders with $20,000 a year?
Yeah, absolutely. So every single penny that goes back into the company,
None of you guys take
not right now.
paycheck?
No, sir.
So how do you live?
Yeah, we're working. Go ahead, Joe.
I'll answer that for you. The 4 of us that are here today are full-time employees. We don't take any pay. Our other 4 founders are part-time. They have full-time jobs that work on the side for us that are able to come in and do day-to-day tasks such as, accounting, marketing, and so forth.
So when do you think, what threshold do you guys have to hit before payroll starts picking up?
I heard something really cool the other day from James, Iconic Air. The first year, let's break even, which we were able to profit in our first year. Second year, let's find a way to pay the rent. And that third year, let's break down the monetary value. But for us, it's about solving a problem. It was never about the money when we started this. We're able to solve a problem every day. Born and raised from West Virginia, college athletes, grad school. We got to travel across this country. Right? We got to see that we're no different than these other states. It just needs promoted better. We need to highlight, the best avocado toast, the best professor, right? Maybe the best animal shelter, right? Let us get involved. We're in, and let's roll.
As a way to efficiently aggregate customers, and I'm talking about business, who are some of your partnerships? Seems like Chambers of Commerce, Ignite West Virginia. I've heard some great businesses that could probably benefit from your services. Talk about your growth strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, I want to say go Mountaineers. WVU, yeah.
Sir.
So, West Liberty University graduates, but, go Mountaineers. Great football career. I wanted to say that any chance we get to partner with someone, if they're going to give us business advice, they're going to come and help us, they're going to come on the radio to promote their product, you name their company, we're in. We're finding ways to innovate and help them grow and help us grow as well.
Yeah, there's not really a limit to who we work with and who we won't work with. I mean, if they fit with, who we are as people and what we're looking for and they have a good product or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean specifically, there are Chambers of Commerce, Ignite West Virginia. It seems that if you can build partnerships where customers aggregate, you may be able to efficiently grow your customers through those core relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great relationship with the Wheeling Heritage. They're absolutely unbelievable, got us off the ground, right? A couple college graduates didn't know what we were doing, said, hey, let's lift you up. You have an idea, you're solving a problem. Let's help you guys find a way to help you win.
What do you perceive as your geographical reach?
Well, we were just talking about that. Really, everywhere. Basically, our business is through the internet. So, the internet is all over the world. So, basically, there's no geographic limit to where we can go, what we can do.
Yeah, and for the businesses that we work with, obviously we're staying local in West Virginia. When it comes to event hosting and stuff like that, obviously our expansion can't go beyond the borders of a certain area for people to bring into events. Now we've had the Pickleball Classic, which we hosted. We had people come in from Arkansas and Tennessee and Kentucky. We can reach in that sort of regard, but as far as bringing a person to eat at a restaurant in Wheeling, we're not exactly going to reach the coast of California. So as far as our content, we can get to anybody, anywhere with internet connection.
I think something that's really cool is just stuff underneath our brand, right? The Pine Room Lager, produced by Big Timber Brewing, sold in the state of West Virginia right now. We are on them every single day, and it's such a fun conversation to have. How can we get into Ohio, right? How can we get into Virginia? How do we find a way to get our product and your product into different states?
Question about your customers. Make sure I'm clear. Is the business your customer or the consumer of those businesses your customer?
Both. I would say our actual customers are the businesses that we work with, and our end user are those that follow our content, watch the stuff that we do, and want to be involved in the events that we host.
One of our biggest opportunities here is with this funding, right? We create new content. Our end users grow. More people are following what we're putting out. Then in return, these companies that are coming on our podcast, on our radio, that we're building a brand with them, now more eyes are on their product.
One thing I did not hear in your presentation so far is the word advertising. So you have your customers that do have a product, let's say, Pickleball Association.
Yes, sir.
That's fine. But what about somebody who just wants to advertise and become a source of revenue, guys, but they are not going to sit there for let's say 10 hours of content. They just want to run a commercial 30 seconds. So where is that leg sits in your business plan? Because I have not heard that.
Absolutely. It's what we do. We do in-house production of audio commercials for radio, video commercials for the internet and for production. We've done ads on TV. We have a trade partnership with WTRF in Wheeling. We do trade partnerships for anybody that wants to advertise. Like you said, everybody's not available to come in and talk for an hour on radio or on podcast. So if there's somebody that's interested in working with us, obviously we will give anybody the opportunity. We'll run ads. We'll do promos. We've done giveaways for certain events throughout the city.
Have you modeled where in your path of growth where advertising will become your biggest source of revenue potentially?
I wouldn't say the largest source of revenue. I think it's a great opportunity, but right now our profit margin with live events is our highest, right? They'll bring us in Blazing Paddles Classic hosted by Ogilvy Resort. Maybe the Waterfront Fest that we're hosting on May 4th in Wheeling, where that overhead was $21,000, which we've covered in the first 2 months. Now ticket sales are going to be able to profit there. That's going to be our largest event yet, and that's happening on May 4th in Wheeling if anybody's looking for something to do.
I just have to ask, have you been tempted to do political?
We have well, I actually take that back. I was going to say we have not, but we have interviewed on our radio station mayoral candidates for the mayor of Wheeling. We haven't gone into Reach's political talks so far, but with the expanded studio space and the availability of new shows and new staff and bringing people in, if they want to promote content, or if they think they're a good content creator, we can bring them in. And if politics is something maybe you're interested in doing a show, we can bring you in and you can start it up.
I just know that I owned an interest in a TV station at one time, and our revenues tripled on election years and then down. So
Are you interested in running for governor?
No, I'm not. Been there, done that.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys. That way, that way. This way.
All right, can we give a big round of applause for our Main Street finalists? Wow, that was incredible. It's hard to follow the Pine Room, guys, right? Okay, can we put up the slide for the judges? I just want to take a moment to say thank you to our incredible judges today. Can we give them a big round of applause for their time and expertise? They have the task of deliberating to figure out how $100,000 will be distributed. So at this time, I will ask the judges to switch spots. So we will now bring up the Tech and Innovation judges. So we'll just switch out. And then at the conclusion of Ignite West Virginia, we will go and deliberate. So you guys get to watch the Tech and Innovation folks. So we'll just go to the next slide, please. All right, so we have the Tech and Innovation judges. If you guys will come on up, we'll just switch on out. So let's give the Tech and Innovation judges now a round of applause. Okay, and then Chloe, I'll turn it over to you to do the on deck.
All right. Up first, we're going to have Bright, and on deck, we'll have GP Teacher.
You don't have to go yet. We'll just, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, let me put it on presentation mode. Yeah, you guys just. So all of these mics should be hot. Okay, let me get that.
I'd rather not use this.
All right, anyone need a water or anything? You guys good? Here. Yeah, you got oh, it's warm. Okay. What do you guys think? Here, Ruth Bay wants more water. Can I get either of you guys anything? Oh yeah, you know how I do. All right, you all right, Frank? Good. Everybody got this? Okay, we got. So they know who you are. They've got this. All right, you guys all right? Good.
It's counting down.
Okay, judges, we're going to start in 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. 3, 2, 1. So 4 years ago, I was a freshman at WVU, and as soon as I stepped foot on campus,
Great, let's stop. Let's stop. Ooh. Get your mic hot. All right, reset it.
Please make sure your good? All right, we're good now.
We're good.
Yep. Take 2. So 4 years ago, I was a freshman at WVU, and as soon as I stepped foot on campus, my school bombarded me by emailing me survey after survey, asking about my campus experience. But of course it didn't fill these out. Everyone knows surveys are miserable. But believe it or not, this causes universities to suffer. 3 months ago, we talked with 50 administrators across 26 universities, and they told us the #1 threat that institutions face today is student attrition, and the way they're solving this is by depending on surveys like the ones I was receiving to identify student issues that lead to dropouts. But the problem is only 10% of students are responding. And so for administrators, finding students who are at risk of dropping out is like searching for a needle in a haystack. Universities are not getting this crucial data, and they're learning about student problems after it's too late, which is costing the average US private institution $173 million in lost tuition every single year. But universities can no longer afford to lose any more students because higher education is in a financial crisis from declining enrollment, and the effects are evident at WVU. But this is hitting colleges hard across the nation. And to preserve bottom lines, the need to retain students is now more important than ever before. And this is where our solution, Bright, comes in. We're the co-founders of Bright, and we built survey software that gives universities more data on student needs, helping institutions make real-time changes for student retention. And so here's how we're changing the survey status quo to help universities thrive. So on our student app, which is in use today, students answer daily questions about their university experience and earn points. And these points are cashed in for prizes on our shop provided by local businesses. And so in students' eyes, this is not a survey. It's a competitive game to win real weekly prizes, which is how we solve the survey problem. And then this student feedback is shown to administrators on their dashboard so they can finally understand student needs on the fly, like mental health or other campus concerns, and then provide resources in real time based on data-driven insights to help students succeed and boost retention.
And we currently have 3 paying university customers, and Bright is in action today with the WVU schools of nursing and dentistry, and universities like Concord are itching to use the platform later this fall. These administrators are seeing a 700% increase in survey responses, and this is because we have hundreds of students that have made a habit of coming back to our app every single day for months now. And they're doing so because they've been incentivized by over $10,000 worth of prizes that local businesses have given us, and they're seeing new student customers as a result. So existing products have not built this connection, where traditional surveys are boring and they lack student engagement. Reward apps take weeks to earn even minimal prizes, and local businesses' social media ads are consistently scrolled by and ignored. So Bright's competitive edge is a new incentive structure that leverages local business promotions for better data collection. And this creates a two-sided market where we generate revenue both from universities and from local businesses. So for universities, we operate on annually recurring contracts, providing them with invaluable data metrics to help fight student attrition. And for local businesses, we use monthly subscriptions to help them market and engage within educational settings. And here's how we plan on capturing these initial customers.
To reach new university customers, we sell to the Vice President of Student Affairs and already have 8 universities in the last stage of our sales buying process in just a month and a half. And to get prizes from local businesses in any college town across America, we incentivize our own student users to refer local businesses onto our platform. And 2 weeks since launch, already have 3 businesses sign up from student referrals. And so our highly scalable sales and marketing strategy allows us to effectively scale to any college town nationwide. And our team of Morgantown natives just gets things done, ingrained in our hard-nosed West Virginian ethos. From Lucas and I spearheading boots-on-the-ground sales and marketing efforts to Craig and our in-house tech team crafting the product, every aspect of our operation is checked. We're on a mission to make West Virginia a startup state.
And we have a network of advisors who are experienced experts helping us provide this and future growth.
Yeah, so last year we won $40,000 here with just an idea and a plan, and turned that into a real product with paying customers. So now we're asking for $50,000, which gets us an engineering boost, and which provides a scalable infrastructure and AI into our product, and for sales initiatives, which gets us to our next milestone of $100,000 in revenue by the end of this year. And we're focused on our niche entry point into the market, which is higher education. However, other industries have come to us and asked to use our product because they need feedback too. And beyond this, we envision a future where we sell our data for endless AI applications. But for now, universities are hurting. Our solution works, and we are ready to disrupt the industry. And so together, let's brighten the future of feedback. Thank you.
Great job on the presentation. Really well done. I have a question about you had the two-sided marketplace, and I wanted to kind of understand that a little bit. When you charge the business, is there any indication of how much of their incentives that they're giving to the students are being redeemed, or have you gotten any information on that at all?
Yeah. So just to clarify, the question was, how does the local business incentives work, and within the in terms of the giveaways, within the promotional giveaways they're giving? And so right now we're charging just a flat monthly rate of $20 per month, and that covers anything from, we've seen some businesses give $10 coupons per month. We've seen others give $10 coupons per week. And so the more giveaways these businesses are giving, the more customers they're seeing as a result. And so there's a local business in Morgantown by the name of Tap House. Maybe some of you have been there. They told us they're capitalizing on the student market like never before, because a student's not going to come in if they see an ad on social media. But if they have a $10 gift card, they're going to come. And we've actually seen that students bring their friends, and so we're providing these businesses with a huge ROI, because we've seen upwards, they've been spending $90+ on meals.
For the nursery, for the nurses school, or the dentistry, is it the same or is it different? And the data that you gather, how would you classify that against your AI idea?
Yeah, so to classify data for the School of Nursing and the School of Dentistry, it's all kind of segregated within different university customers. And so right now we have 3 university customers. Each are asking their own individual questions, their own survey questions. And each administrator has their own dashboard, so where they can they can get their students' needs. And we've actually seen the School of Nursing, for example, they have we talk to our customers regularly for customer success check-ins, and they have been making program-wide changes based on what the students have said. But just to answer your initial question, they are segregated within our back end based on per university.
And is the dashboard dynamic or static?
In what sense do you mean?
Do the schools automatically get their data every student answers, or do they wait in weekly basis, get a report?
Yeah, so every day we collect data points, and it's compounded into a tally system, so teachers can see the responses of each of their questions they've asked for that day.
Thank you.
So what other startups are pursuing this industry? And I know you mentioned Qualtrics and SurveyMonkey. Are there other startups in this space, and have you done a lot of research on that?
So there's competitors kind of broken up into three groups. So there's traditional surveys, which is your things such as Qualtrics and SurveyMonkey. However, those don't really have an incentive component to them. And then there's the reward apps where students go in and they fill out prizes, but it takes weeks to get even like an Amazon gift card or something. And then local businesses go in and they try to advertise on things like Instagram. Folks just keep scrolling and they ignore them. And so there's kind of competitors in each one of these spaces, and we're really connecting the dots in the middle, enabling those local business connections to fuel the data, which brings in more local businesses. So it's a positively growing flywheel.
Yeah, absolutely. And beyond this, as our daily active users increases, we do see a foreseeable future within e-commerce companies, also national brand deals. But with regards to any other companies that are any startups, there are none that we know of. And since we're a vendor with each university, then local businesses, they don't have to fill out a W-9 because we're kind of the middleman between that.
Sure, and I'll offer an introduction I can make later on. There was a company based out of San Diego called Portfolium that basically created a LinkedIn to put forward your student projects, and they went to the University of California system and landed a contract to immediately be across all 20 university campuses. So we can talk more about that later.
It's awesome, thank you, definitely will.
Can you talk a little bit about your sales cycle, what that looks like?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great question. So with regards to our sales cycle, we do top-down, outbound sales, and we contact the Vice President of Student Affairs at a university. And so this job title deals with everything from student satisfaction to do you like your dorm, do you like the food, because all of these little things contribute to dropouts. And so their job is to make students happy. And so anyways, we reach out to these via email. We've seen great success with 8 universities in the last stage of our sales pipeline. But with regards to that cycle, we prospect these universities, then we do the customer qualification. So do they have the adequate pain and the adequate budget with regards to retention and their financial budget? And then we run an individual demo. And then after that, we do a stakeholder demo with the Vice President of Student Affairs and their directors. And then from there, after that, that's whenever we get the economic buyer, which is either the provost or the chief information officer. And this sounds like a lot, but within Concord University, this process only took a month and a half. And so it's pretty straightforward, especially within your mid-market sales cycles. We're going to stay, our ideal customer profile is more of these, SMB mid-market type universities, your small private universities. We're going to stay away from the long enterprise deals until we find product market fit.
You mentioned that you want $50,000 on this current pitch. What would you do if you had $100,000?
Yeah, so we're actually actively seeking a pre-seed round of investment, but that is going to take place in the next 4 to 8 months because we're all engineering students. We're getting ready to graduate, and we've had actually product-led growth with zero marketing. A University of Marshall administrator came to us and said, "I've heard about Bright. I want to use it at Marshall." We said, "How did you hear about us?" Her daughter is a WVU School of Dentistry student, and she told her mom, "Hey, you guys should check this out. I'm winning these free prizes for these surveys." So we've had word of mouth growth, and so we have more demand than we have the capacity for right now. So we really need to boost product development to build these more robust, scalable systems. And so the $50,000 from Ignite lays the groundwork to build a lot of these things. It gets us that runway. And then once we close that pre-seed round of funding, we can deploy that capital and start growing. Thank you, guys.
All right, up next we have GP Teacher, and on deck is Mooter Help.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Coleman, and I'm a proud son of Appalachia. West Virginia is an educational desert. Teachers are underpaid, underserved, and understaffed. How does this affect our kids? I have a nephew that attends Mercer County schools, and he struggles to read and write. His teacher splits her time between 30 students and cannot afford him the one-on-one time that he unfortunately needs. His mother works 2 jobs to put a roof over their head, and she also can't give him the time he needs to learn and advance. He's not alone. In fact, 48% of West Virginia 4th graders are below the basic national achievement level of reading.
Thank you, Rob. These issues are real in West Virginia, and I'd like to share with you my experience. As someone whose native language isn't English, I understand the challenges that students face in the classroom, experiencing teachers unable to help with assignments due to the lack of time and resources at their disposal. I can remember pulling my hair out, feeling frustrated and lost with nowhere to go on completing these assignments. However, this is not just an issue for ESL students. It affects many other students in our state. Students need support inside and outside the classroom in order to succeed at any pace.
West Virginia is 47th in education. And as Rob said, 48% of 4th graders are under the national reading level. And as of 2026, 3rd grade students will be subjected to standardized testing in reading and math. And if they do not meet these benchmarks, they will be required to repeat the grade.
Thank you, Garrett. So we have teachers who are underpaid and overworked. We have students who can't even properly ask their teachers questions sometimes. And in 2 years, 3rd grade students will be given the reading comprehension exam that if they don't pass it, they have to retake 3rd grade. West Virginia is facing some serious problems, so what are we going to do about it? The answer is GP Teacher. GP Teacher is an AI-driven education platform that gives students instant 24/7 feedback and teachers the tools they need to pinpoint exactly where the problems are in their classroom. For students, it's a tutor. For teachers, it's an assistant. So let's show you some of how this works. On the student side, we want to emphasize a gamification of education. We want to make it fun to learn. And we want to emphasize something we call language agnosticism. What this means is that if a student is learning English and they ask for feedback, that feedback can be given in Spanish, French, whatever their native language is. And as Garrett said, literacy is a huge problem in West Virginia right now. So we want to emphasize a phonics-based learning platform. So let's show you quickly what we have so far. We have developed the Siri of reading. All a student does is they come to our website, they click that red button, they read the text that's on the screen. GP Teacher listens to that student and can then give feedback verbally on what that student did correctly or incorrectly. Now, on the teacher's side, we want to emphasize a safety-focused approach. We understand how important safety is to education, so we want to keep that in the front of our minds. We also want to integrate this with LMS platforms, so that way teachers don't have to pull their hair out when they're trying to use it. And finally, we want to have IEP assistance, which means that teachers will be able to develop lesson plans for students that might be struggling a little bit. And just to look at what that might look like, teachers are able to see who is interacting with their problems and what specific problem points are coming up. So we have demos, but we need to make this a real-world product. We need $60,000 to make this possible. $35,000 goes straight to building it. An extra $15,000 gets us through a pilot program to get into real-world classrooms in West Virginia, and the final $10,000 gets us the tailwind we need to get the word out about GP Teacher. But why us? Judges, we are all West Virginia natives. We've seen firsthand education in West Virginia. On top of that, we are seniors in computer science at West Virginia University. We are uniquely posed to get a solution for this problem. So, we are not just here today asking for an investment in our company. We are asking for an investment into the future of West Virginia. Thank you.
That was a great job, and I especially like that you submitted a business model canvas that was completed, so great job on that. Obviously, you're pursuing a problem that is worth solving, and I like what you're doing so far. Especially, there's a company in Ohio I can make an introduction to that's building an IEP engine as well, so that might be a good partnership. And I love the fact that you're gamifying learning. My question is, how much do you need to raise in order to achieve your first $1 million of revenue?
So our goal right now is to become profitable in the next 2 years. We're still doing research and development into the correct pricing as to what is profitable for our company, but also what is affordable for education. We see it as over the next 2 years, we want to focus on West Virginia, get our service into West Virginia schools, and then past that, we can start thinking about nationwide expansion, and I believe that is where some real exponential growth might start coming in.
If there was one barrier that doesn't let you guys sleep at night as a computer science major, what would that be?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? I just didn't hear it.
To implement your technology in the product, what is the barriers that might make you successful or fail?
So a lot of those barriers have been removed over the past 2 years. A lot of new technology has entered the playing field. And I think our strength is being agile enough to be able to be on the bleeding edge of it and testing, seeing what works and what isn't as stable. Does that answer your question?
Not really, but we can talk outside, yep.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. I was wondering if you had a specialist, a reading specialist among your staff. I heard you said that you were all computer scientists, and I also was curious if you were going to have plans to expand the product to address learning challenges such as dyslexia.
So of our team, not currently, but over the course of I-Corps, I spoke to many different individuals, and I had some very helpful interviews from WVU faculty. A few of them helped write and actually added input into Bill 3035, which is what we were mentioning earlier, that Third Grade Success Act. As for expansion of features, we are definitely interested in expanding features as this product develops. At this moment, we feel reading is a crucial problem in West Virginia, so we're focusing on that, but we're still definitely open to future expansions.
Literacy is definitely our MVP. That's where we are first, and then we'll work out from there. But first, we got to get that MVP into the actual stages where it's in the schools, it's actually doing work it needs to do.
So are you already addressing literacy issues such as dyslexia, where people are having that learning disability to get
So that's the beauty of this, is that, one, it's regulated by the teacher. The teacher can actually see what the student is getting responded to. And then not only that, but since it's AI-driven and it is personal, with the IEPs and stuff like that, you get student engagement directly to it, and then the AI can literally take in their problems and then personalize it just for them. So that way they get ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about the model and the learning model here, because the large language learning models are difficult and also very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you're dealing with children in schools, you worry about safety and security. And first of all, who is the underlying, or who have you figured out who's going to be the underlying kind of brains of this, as far as is it ChatGPT or is it Microsoft or somebody? Like, who is your service that you're using there? And then two, how are you going to be sure that if a student says the wrong word, he doesn't get an adult type of response?
So as for the first part, saying who we go with, it is a mix of who can promise safety and who can promise scalability, efficiency, cost effectiveness. As of this moment, we are going with OpenAI. They have been decreasing prices for quite a while now. However, we built our platform to be an almost plug-and-play system, where if any point in the future there would suddenly be a problem, we could pretty easily just switch sources to a better option.
And then I want to piggyback off that. The teacher really does have access to what the AI gives back to the students sometimes. So if for whatever reason, like the AI would give a response to a question, and then let's say it's wrong for whatever reason, then the teacher can go back in there and it can tell it not to do that. And then that helps the AI, the actual computer itself know, okay, I can never do that again. And so it won't do that, and it will give more simple answers. But the way that we'll program it is so that the teacher will initially interact with it, so that way that just doesn't happen from the get-go.
So you've identified an obvious problem, and you have a solution, and I commend you on your work with that. Applying this to the 55 counties of West Virginia, though, there are many areas of West Virginia that do not have access to broadband and internet. So, and we saw this in many pockets during COVID when remote learning was so prevalent. How do you address that issue? Can this be downloaded and not required to be online? I mean, how do you handle that situation?
So for low internet availability, we're still looking into more offline options, but something I'd like to point out is that this is simply a website. There's no app you have to download. All you have to do is have something that just connects to the internet. Even if it's one bar of service, you're able to get to GP Teacher. And then in that sense, it's less of an internet requirement than a more intensive program.
And I also want to say too, I know that students are struggling with that, and in many counties, I think across West Virginia, they're giving Chromebooks now, right? And I know the internet's a big problem. My dad goes to, he's a nurse practitioner, has no internet for hours at a time. That is an issue that is an ongoing statewide problem and will have to be solved at the state level. But we're going to work our best way to get in there and make sure it's downloaded on the laptops and stuff they can access it.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Mooter Health. And on deck, we have SlimSafe.
Michelle is 3 months postpartum, struggling as a single mom. She feels alone, depressed, and guilty that she isn't providing enough for her newborn baby girl. Michelle represents the 85% of mothers who suffer from symptoms of a perinatal mood or anxiety disorder, while only 8% get treatment. This leaves 6.6 million moms in the United States alone suffering right now. Think about that number for a moment. And on top of that, suicide is the #1 cause of death for pregnant and up to 1 year postpartum moms. 1 in 10 dads also suffer from symptoms of a mood or anxiety disorder related to the perinatal period. We are done letting our loved ones face these devastating battles alone. Our solution to this ever-growing problem is Mooter Health.
Healthcare as a whole is predominantly reactive, but we cannot wait for people suffering with mental health to recognize that they are suffering before and reach out for help. That's why we offer a technology platform and proven protocol to allow clinicians within health systems and other healthcare entities to provide effective preventative, and holistic care to all moms and patients outside of office visits, which is where healthcare is currently lacking. So, instead of Michelle facing this incredibly challenging period of her life alone, she is enrolled with Mooter with no charge to her at her first new pregnancy visit with her OB. She begins receiving personalized, proactive texts from her trusted providers and is given a Fitbit at her first appointment to provide critical, objective information about sleep and activity data each day to her clinicians. If I were to ask you all today how well you slept 3 weeks ago, could you tell me? I can't even remember how well I slept 3 nights ago. And this is really important because nearly every single postpartum suicide is preceded by a period of poor sleep. Yet our healthcare systems do not track these key data points. So, we can prevent these deaths by collecting objective information and intervening early while also building a rapport with each and every mother. In addition to proactive outreach and wearable data, we screen all of our mothers and analyze this data on a number of fronts, including sleep and activity data, medication compliance, and sentiment analysis on text, and a lot more, to produce our very own Mooter AI risk score. This score allows clinicians to stratify patients based on risk to identify patients that need the most amount of help, ensuring that no one slips through the cracks.
Michelle can be sure she's in great hands based on the success Mooter Health has had with our early customers, including Mon Health Hospital's Progressing Through Postpartum program. We have already added over 1,100 patients to the platform and have seen incredible results. Patient outcomes have improved 43% with treatment, and these results provide clear, meaningful value to clinicians, health systems, and insurance providers. Maternal mental health as an industry is predicted to grow from $3 billion to over $32 billion over the next decade, making it one of the fastest growing in the entire country. The market has just began adopting technology to address mental health care, but current solutions focus on self-help or labor-intensive face-to-face interactions. We serve our health systems and organizations through the uniqueness of our purpose-built platform, devised with industry experts and evidence-based research. We have proven technology and protocols for a gold standard of care specifically in maternal mental health. Our ask today is $72,000 to continue growing our customer base and support an additional 3,500 patients, with $16,000 towards clinician recruiting and training, $24,000 towards technology and AI enhancements, and $32,000 for business development and marketing and sales campaigns. Getting another hospital enrolled would be life-changing for so many mothers and families in West Virginia, and it'll also help us demonstrate traction for further venture funding and help make this a standard of care across the entire nation and world, starting with West Virginia. But none of this is about the numbers. This is about helping people and saving lives.
While we recognize that our story today focused on Mom Michelle, mental health issues do not discriminate and expand far beyond mothers and fathers. Mooter has the capabilities to help the silent suffering of moms, dads, teens, students, veterans, the elderly, impoverished, substance use disorder, and those who fall victim to the loneliness pandemic. Thank you for your time today.
To this World Cup thing.
Is it all ambient data, or does she have to insert data for you?
Yeah, so the data that we're gathering, we're currently screening patients. So these are remote screens that we're sending out to the patients over text messaging. So the patients, this was a very intentional move that we did to increase engagement. Current engagement rates with EMR systems and phone calls are only 30 to 35%, and yet our engagement stays consistent over the 7 months that we've enrolled the Mon Health system at 85%. So we send these text messages out with the screening data included, and we'll receive that data and it'll go into the patient record. And the data that we receive from the Fitbits, those are ingested every night. Those are really just sleep and activity data at this point.
And you mentioned you have a protocol, and how do you make sure that protocol actually does the right thing based on the input to give you the right output, which we can understand and help the patient?
Absolutely. That's a really good question. I mean, that is To answer your question, years and years and years of evidence. So we mentioned that we have proven protocols that are devised with industry experts. These are clinicians that have been working in this industry for decades. So truly the experts, the leaders in this field, and that's then combined with the evidence and the research that we've been collecting with this platform and on the data from over 1,100 patients. That's not something that's very easy for a healthcare startup to do, and we've been very fortunate to have that amount of data to support our practices and it further reiterate on what we're doing. Across the industry, I mean, we see that, like Ateis mentioned, those engagement rates are far, far lower, but with the protocol we've developed, we can see that that's sustained. So it's not just the first time a patient is introduced and enrolled in the Mooter platform, but over a period of months, that engagement rate stays very high, and part of it is because of the evidence that we've been able to collect that informs the protocol.
Great job. Definitely a problem worth solving. And you mentioned that you had improvement in the mood disorder scores. What are you using for that? Is that the PHQ-9 or the GAD-7? Or?
Yeah, that's another good question. Wow, you really know this space. So we have the ability to use the PHQ as well as the GAD-7, but we're also relying on the EPDS, which is another proven diagnostic tool that's used across all mental health clinicians in this space. So we have the ability to incorporate those two. Those specific results are relying on the EPDS survey is what it's called.
And just to hop in real quick, that EPDS survey is specific for the perinatal period. So that's the gold standard in this space.
Got it. So there's a company out there called Osmind, OSMIND. They've raised $54 million, and they're doing GAD-7 and PHQ-9s. You should take a look at them and their investors because there might be a potential strategic partnership.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And just, I think, just a little bit of back and forth, if you'll accommodate that. That's something that we have the ability to expand to. Jackie mentioned at the end that we're talking about helping homeless people, veterans, impoverished, all of these other groups, and that's where the PHQ-9 and the GAD-7 really come into play to help us. So one commitment that we've had from the very start is specificity to solve this problem, and as we expand to those other fields as we currently are, we're going to incorporate those surveys that are specific. So that is our commitment to creating the gold standard of care that's used across the entire nation.
So let's talk afterwards about that. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I do a lot of work with PTSD and brain trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great lead-in to PTSD populations. With over 20 years of healthcare experience, we've certainly developed a great network of healthcare professionals across the state, and we just launched into higher education as well. But PTSD is near and dear to my heart, especially among the veteran population because of a recent suicide with my twin brother because of PTSD. So I would greatly welcome an open conversation with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I had a question about pricing and then who's paying for this. So kind of explain that a little bit to me, and then have you had any exploratory discussions with the insurance carriers and whether they would cover something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So our pricing model is $25 per patient per month, and we are currently offering this as a software as a service platform for insurance providers and healthcare systems. So we have a lot of traction. Thank you for pulling up that slide. We're currently in with Mon Health and their sister hospital, Stonewall Jackson. And as Michelle mentioned, we've moved into higher education with WVJC. We've had further conversations with Children's National Hospital, and we're looking to close that deal very soon over the coming weeks here. And we've also begun many in-depth conversations with Aetna and Highmark on a number of fronts, including, of course, perinatal mental health, but also with a focus on SDOH.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the reason we're talking to those organizations, we were very intentional about aiming to not have this be a cost to the patient, but to go after the health systems and health insurance providers because they value two things, and those are two things that we do really well with our platform. Number one is efficiency. So with our platform, they're able to accommodate a much greater caseload of patients, and we integrate right into their workflow. So in the case of the insurance companies, they've got hundreds, and I mean over 800 for some of these insurance companies just in the state of West Virginia that are offering the types of services that we support with our platform. So when we're able to come in and increase efficiency to allow them to accommodate more patients, that's a huge, huge financial return for them, and that's something that gets them interested. The other part of it is effectiveness, and we talked about the results with patient outcomes. So that truly matters to hospital systems and insurance providers because mental health is causing this industry $200 billion every year in losses. So both parties are very committed to finding a financial solution as well.
I had a quick question as to whether the client would also have access to the information and whether that would even be wise.
Client meaning the patient?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we made an early decision to not allow the patient to have anything outside of a texting interaction. One, because as you mentioned, having access to the data, and maybe there could be negative trends that we don't want the patient to be aware of and becoming overly conscious about. And secondly, we believe that having that login could cause app fatigue, and we want to ensure that our engagement rates stay very high and create a very natural engagement with the clinicians.
Yeah, and just to add on to that really quickly. So with Children's National, for example, they looked at us and they looked at 5 other platforms, and they asked us, are you from Silicon Valley? And we said, no, we're right here from West Virginia, and they ended up choosing us over all those platforms because of how good we are at what we do. So,
thank you all.
Thank you.
Up next, we have SlimSafe, and on deck, we have Sparked.
It's not up yet, the PowerPoint. Oh, what do I do? Okay. That's GP Teacher. Okay. SlimSafe. Yeah. Meet Emma A., a spunky 10-year-old equestrian and one of my favorite students when I work as a riding instructor in the summers. Last year, when Emma was practicing the night before a horse show, her horse got frustrated and Emma was thrown off. The impact was so great that her helmet broke. After spending the night in the emergency room, doctors confirmed that Emma had a sprained knee, bruised ribs, and a concussion severe enough to have Emma experiencing dizzy spells and vision problems in the week to come. The only upside to Emma's fall was the timing, because if it had happened even one day later, when Emma was in the show ring rather than the practice ring, she wouldn't have been wearing a helmet at all. She would have been wearing a hat, like millions of other equestrians, adults and children alike, who ride horses competitively. You see, 70% of riding falls result in head injuries. And despite the fact that wearing a riding helmet reduces your risk of severe head injury by 50%, many riders and trainers still reject the use of them in competition. Many riders and trainers still reject the use of them in competition. And wearing your helmet to practice, but not to show, is about as useful as wearing your seatbelt Monday through Friday. Helmets are unstylish, uncool, and so taboo that they can even negatively affect your outcome in a horse show. My name is Eva Tor, founder and CEO of Eva Tor LLC. I'm an avid equestrian, and I've been dealing with this problem for over 15 years. My helmet has saved my life on more than one occasion, but it's also cost me a few ribbons along the way. Now, I say this not to discourage anyone from the sport that I love, but merely to demonstrate the need for innovation. Because riders, parents, Emma's mom, should not have to choose between her daughter's safety and success. That's why I've invented the SlimSafe. The SlimSafe is a patent-pending, ultra-thin riding helmet designed to fit inconspicuously under a hat. We're working with experienced teams of medical engineers, chemists, and sports head trauma specialists to deliver the maximum amount of protection with a fraction of the profile of a normal helmet. So what does our market look like? Well, you might be surprised to learn that horseback riding is actually the leading cause of sports-related traumatic brain injuries. Roughly 15,000 equestrians a year will present to the hospital with head injuries alone. And of those 15,000, the hospitalization rate is nearly 6 times that of football players in the same situation. These equestrians represent our serviceable obtainable market. But it's estimated that over 30 million Americans ride horses each year, and this represents our much larger total addressable market. We have 3 customer segments: parents of children who ride, amateur riders, and horse professionals. But our primary customer segment is parents of children who ride and show, because parents are nothing if not protective and prioritize their child's safety. We're benchmarking a per unit cost of $90, and we plan to sell for $350 a unit, leaving us with a profit margin of 75%. We'll sell direct to consumer through our website, but we'll also sell B2B using existing equine vendors, as they've already tapped each of our 3 customer segments and have a large and loyal following. When it comes to competition, our situation is unique, in that we're not competing against individual products in the market, but rather the social norms and stigmas that exist within the horse industry. We plan to combat these using an awareness campaign, because if my customer interviews have taught me anything, it's that safety simply isn't discussed in the horse industry, certainly not the way it's discussed in other sports. And as for me, I'm a user entrepreneur who's turning her 15-year-long passion into an entire brand that aims to solve the problems that myself and my peers have grown up experiencing. Since competing at Bridging Innovation last year, I've expanded my brand and my team. My first product, the Tiny Tack Room, previously known as the Stable Boy, is set to launch at the end of this month. And my team that previously consisted of patent lawyers, business coaches, and engineers has grown to include a wonderful board of advisors, marketing firm, medical and material specialists, and corporate and product liability attorneys. So today, I'm asking you for $40,000 to continue research and development, complete helmet testing, file a utility patent, and finish website design. Stay stylish, stay safe, Slim Safe.
Great job. There's a lot of need for what you're doing there. The first question I have is, what does it take to get to your first $1 million of revenue? And then I'll come up with something.
So if we're going just off of profit, how many units we need to sell, we would need to sell about 4,000 units. But like I mentioned, our serviceable obtainable market, which I think is very obviously obtainable, is 15,000 equestrians. And that's just head injuries. Roughly 50,000 will go to the hospital each year.
Sure. Also, I have a couple of introductions for you as well, because there's a lot of people in the military world and in the athletics field. Sean Springs, who was a All-American at Ohio State and also an NFL player for 6 years. He's working on a lot of helmet stuff, and there's a traumatic brain injury clinic at Ohio State that you might be able to get some strategic partnerships as well.
That would be excellent. Thank you very much.
There's always a delay on this. So I looked at the hat and the helmet, and is there any kind of problem, or I guess a question on whether that can fit under a normal hat? Because I assume that you'd have to upsize the hat a little bit to get that underneath. And would that be a complementary item you would maybe look to manufacture or to sell?
So we want to make sure we're only producing the helmet. We don't want to get involved with manufacturing hats. Hats are often bought when you buy your show clothes and tend to be more customizable. The helmet will come in several different sizes. We're actually thinking about certain custom options, maybe a universal size shell, extra small, small, medium, large, and then kind of an injectable gel, something that's custom fit to each person. So we maximize the small amount of space that we have, and that space that we're looking at is roughly 1/4 of an inch to an inch thick, absolutely no more. So people will have to size up on their hats, but not so much that it looks weird, and it does fit under all hats. It is completely universal in that instance.
Okay, and then my other question was, you had a photo up there of, I don't know, a bull rider at a rodeo. I don't know that industry at all, but is that something like that would appeal to like an additional complementary industry versus just show riding?
Barrel racing, yeah, I mean, it's still considered competition, and Western is definitely the largest section of the market that refuses to wear a helmet. In fact, just a few years ago, a barrel racer like the one you saw a picture of fell and hit her head and died, and nothing was done within the industry. I was talking to a few people yesterday about how dressage has just recently mandated them. They mandated them literally after the pandemic happened, if that gives you an idea. Helmets were not in existence in dressage until COVID had already happened. And they only mandated that after one of their Olympians fell and was in a coma for a month and had to relearn how to walk and talk and eat.
Can you talk a little bit about your distribution model? You know, I mean, will you sell direct to the customer? Will you distribute through other, you know, sort of outputs?
So safety is a very personal issue, especially since we're targeting parents. You know, it means a lot to them. So we want to make sure that whatever distribution model we go with is something that parents feel they can really, really trust. So that's why I'm working on building my brand right now, and part of my brand is you know, advocacy for this problem, because my parents always made me wear a helmet, and I was the only kid in the ring with a helmet on. That's where, you know, all ideas stem from, not wanting to do what your parents want you to do. So yeah, we will sell through our website. Like I said, we're working on that brand, but choosing to sell through existing equine vendors, B2B, that's very strategic, because these vendors, like I said, have reached all of our customer segments. They have very, very loyal customers who trust them and know them, and trust their advice and their opinion in whatever they're selling. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I would think that a sponsor and somebody who is nationally known within the industry speaking out in favor of your product while allowing the tradition to continue might be really powerful. Have you considered that?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, one of the only benefits of horseback riding being kind of one of the last holdouts to not mandate helmets across the board is that we've seen how every other sport has done it, right? So football, hockey, it took, you know, one big famous player saying, no, I'm going to wear a helmet, and then everyone else eventually followed. So I think that's what it's going to take, is getting one or two really big influencers behind us who agree to wear our product for the rest of the industry to follow. Because, I mean, really, why style is so important is because it's the trend. It's been the trend for several hundred years, and they're hesitant to change it. But if we can make something else the trend, if we can make safety the trend, then I think we can make it universal.
That's a good point, because even in the skating industry, right, Tony Hawk wears a helmet now, right? So to your point, what are the horse people waiting for?
Absolutely. I hope this means I've done a good job answering the question.
All right. Up next, we have Sparked, and on deck, Cyber Cubs.
Hello. Is it good? Hello. Hello, my name's Sean Cosner, and I wanted to ignite your ideas with Sparked. Before we get started, a little bit about how I came to this position. I'm a deep thinker, and a lot of things in the world do not make sense to me. I'm looking around for the truth and I can't find it, and it's causing a lot of problems in my mind. So I write a lot. I write a lot to analyze my thoughts, and since 2017, I've written just about 6.5 million words. And one of those words, and a lot of those words, I wrote my first book in 2020, and I recognized a lot of personal pain points. So from those pain points, I started thinking about developing Spark in the background of writing this book. And in my second book and my third book, I recognized those pain points were there. And so I developed what I now refer to as Sparked. And in August 2023, I created a MVP. I reached out to WVU that same month, and the last 6 months have been a journey. I'm a Service Disabled War veteran. I've been accepted and completed Second Service Foundation's Leadership and Entrepreneurship Academy. DAV, went down there this February in Cincinnati, Ignite finalist, Region I Corps, and tonight, pitching to you guys, Future, Syracuse, going to do the Entrepreneur Boot Camp there, Military Entrepreneurship Boot Camp for Second Service Foundation, and then hopefully National I Corps teams. And then I would like to represent West Virginia in the World Cup. What has my journey taught me? So in the world of creativity, the journey from a spark of inspiration to a masterpiece is often lost in translation, misplaced in the chaos of capturing, organizing, and evolving raw ideas. So some of the personal pain points I was speaking to, creative thinking is messy. We have scattered thoughts, too many ideas, lost momentum, sporadic work habits, lost work, emotional management. So identifying the problem, organization of ideas, efficiency and time management, tracking the development of ideas from the beginning to the end, the process is cumbersome. Connecting related ideas, this is a big issue, apps, programs, multiple mediums, so cross-platform compatibility. No dedicated workspace for inspirations to grow. We're missing a place to foster individual creativity. So what I like to refer to as a creative canvas. So the solution, InnerSparked, a streamlined, intuitive platform designed to capture and organize your flashes of genius the moment they strike. Our app's basic features provide a seamless experience to record, refine, and revisit your creative concept. So the solution, this is an MVP I created myself. So you just log in, type in your Spark, and you save it. And where the magic happens is the Spark web app. So on the right, you see the individual Sparks highlighted here, and you can tell which ones have been used for your master. And in this example, there's 87 Sparks, but the master is the current projects over here that we're working on, and this is the master. So all these Sparks are drag and drop. You can switch them around. And then we get to a point where you're ready to work on your final product. You export it to your preferred format. So the competitors, competitive landscape depends on what you put us in as note-taking, word processor, organizing, planning, book writing app programs. So why Sparked? There are many fantastic apps and programs available, but nothing quite like Sparked. Spark is not directly competing with any existing solution. If anything, we overlap and we can work together. Spark stands out by offering a holistic ecosystem tailored to and for the creator. While there are note-taking apps and writing tools available, none that offer the community and full spectrum support that Spark proposes. Our focus on the entire life cycle of an idea sets us apart, making Spark a unique contender in the market. So the market size of this opportunity in the next 3 years, currently 2023, the market global size is 10 billion. US, North America is getting 4 billion of that. By 2028, it's supposed to reach 19 billion, 18.9% growth. So the target for me right now, I'm going to focus on writers, traditional and freelance. That's a $30 million industry. So we're looking at 6 million users. So my first year, I'm going to try to capture 2% of that, third year, 3%, and 4% after that. So phase one, business model, we're going to do a freemium model. We're going to do in-app purchases, microtransactions for feature unlocks. So this is our go-to-market strategy. We are here right now with Ignite. So we're going to launch our MVP focusing on writers, authors, and creators who use the note-taking app, establish a user base, implement a feedback loop, enhance the platform with advanced features, expand other creative segments, at the same time build a robust community, and that will allow us to go into phase two pretty efficiently. So the ask, I'm asking for $40,000. We will allocate 75% of the $40,000 funding to develop our MVP, focusing on core features and optimal user experience. The rest will fund expert market analysis and launch campaigns to boost visibility and engage initial users. Thank you.
Great presentation. So you said that you launched an MVP. How many people used it, and what did you learn from those users?
if I said I launched, my apologies. I created an MVP. I didn't launch it. I just wanted to see my idea in physical form and then work it out. And then I realized I was a little bit, well, way over my head. So I reached out to experts and I, started talking to some developers and met with a WVU and worked out from there.
Great, great. And how are you different from mind mapping applications like the Brain and Mind Manager?
Okay, so mind mapping and note-taking apps, what they're focusing on is an individual thing. I want to take the idea from the spark, right, from the beginning to the end. I want to help you not only write it down, but I want to take you to the end product. I want to see what you want to do. When I wrote my first book, when I did all the research I had to do to figure out how to write it, to edit it, and do that, I did that all by myself, and it's a very cumbersome thing to do. You had to search thousands of websites to find one that's going to give you the best idea how to do these things. So what I would like to do is create if we could go back, please, what I would like to do is create an ecosystem. That's what I'm proposing. I'm sorry, I should hit on this a little bit more earlier, but the ecosystem that I'm proposing will be right here. So if you look to your left, let me highlight this. If you look to your left, right here below that, so we have funding assistance, collaboration, sparks, tutorials, competitions, templates, network, marketplace, and Veterans Creative Hub. So what I'm looking to is I'm trying to build an ecosystem for creatives. That's what I like to do. So if people need resources, they just come here. So if they're a writer, if they're an artist, I'm going to focus on writers. So if they're a writer, they can come here and get this stuff, information right here. That's what I'm trying to do.
I would like to thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
First of all. And can you kind of maybe help me understand the ideal of or the profile of an ideal customer, for you? Because I want to be able to connect that.
So it would be, so the market's large and it's going to grow. So I'm looking for anybody that's looking to foster their creativity, where they're going to use the note-taking app to. Everyone has their phone on them, right? So we're going to use their note-taking app or Spark to capture what inspires them. So it could be an article, it could be a video or what have you, and you enter it and you save it. And later when you have time, you go to refine it. So I'm looking for anybody who's looking for that. But what sets me apart and what I think is important is I'm trying to create the ecosystem. I'm trying to create a place where creatives can hang out with each other. And if you need help, with patent, one of the things that I'm interested in is I have 3 or 4 inventions that I'm working on now, but I don't have all the information that I need. So I'm trying to create a place where people can reach out and do that. And I have a couple other business models, and I'm working on a couple other apps too. So I have a whole bunch of things. So if I'm looking for somebody, it's probably deep thinkers, and somebody that's trying to maybe organize all their thoughts. Like I said, I have 6.5 million words, and it's scattered all over the place. It's on notebooks, it's in my computer, it's on my emails, it's in Word documents, and I'm trying to consolidate all these. And I know there's a few of them out there, but I don't think any of them are trying to take it from point A to point B, from beginning to end, to finish it.
Have you, I always ask questions about, how do we get this to revenue? And so have you looked at it all as far as how you're going to do the software development and what that may entail or cost-wise? And then also, how are you charging the users? And then would there be advertising on this platform?
So I think that advertising, it's a good way to make money, but it's invasive. And so if you're in the middle of creating an app or writing something, like having ads coming up and distracting you is a problem to me. So we'll have a different type of ad. It'll be focused ads. So if I'm a writer, it'll be nothing but writer. If I'm a photographer, it'll be nothing but photography. If I'm an artist, and what have you. But if the year one, if I get 2%, so I'm looking at the ARP, so the average revenue per user, if we do $5 per year with 2%, that's about $120,000. These are really conservative numbers, they're really low. So it's $607,000 if I could get $5 per user per year. Now at 99 cents per user per month, we can get up to $1.4 million, and that's with 2%, so that's $120,000. And then 3% gets us up to $180,000, and 4% will get us up to $250,000. That's where the bigger numbers start. So, of course, like anything, it's exponential. So you get the more you get, it works like that. Is that?
Yeah, no, you answered the question great.
Thank you.
You mentioned people being able to store their ideas, which is great because my brain is about like that. And I write it all over the place and I never make any sense of it. So kudos to you for doing so. Is there any opportunity where that information might be made public or possibly stored so that police or FBI could see it? Or, I mean, is there any kind of risk there, or is it all going to be on the user's phone?
Well, short of a warrant, I don't think, no, there's no way no one's going to get to it. It's end-to-end encryption, and that is the big thing about it. Like, privacy is important. Privacy and security, I think that is important. A lot of these ideas, I don't like sharing my ideas because I'm afraid, and it might be irrational, but it's a true feeling. I don't want to talk about things because I'm afraid someone's going to steal it and take it. And I want to make sure that it's focused. And the actual, I would like to create a desktop version where it's not connected to the internet. So where it just downloads to a computer that's not connected to the internet, and you can finalize and work through that, and then when you're finished, you can export it.
Top 3 features of your MVP. What is it that actually your product include?
Okay, so one of the things, everybody, if there's musicians or writers or artists in here, you know there's a thing called a flow state, right? So I operate under I coined a term called it's extreme flow state, but it's simultaneous creation. So if you're creating something, I'm often reading something and I'm writing, and if I'm writing, I get inspired by something else. And so what I'm doing at the same time is I need to go to another thing to write a business idea or an invention from that, so I keep doing it. So one of the things I'm going to do is focus on simultaneous creation, where you can pivot while you're creating one thing, if these sparks of inspiration come to you. So you just keep going. We're going to do an ethics engine where we can keep things truthful, because there's not a lot of truth out there. So if somebody wants to turn it on, they can turn it on, and we're going to work with sorry about that.
And up next, we have Cyber Cups.
Test. Oh, wow. So you guys be loud. Okay. All right. I think we're good now. Okay, wonderful. All right. About ready to go. Ready? Yep. Do I have to switch the display? Okay. Gotcha. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marshawn Kelly.
And I'm Jonathan Williams.
And today, we are here to unveil to you a tale of danger, innovation, and a quest for nightlife safety, and a saga we like to call Cyber Cups. Now, I want each and every one of you to imagine a world where the lurking threat of drink spiking overshadows the joy of socializing. To back myself up, there's been a recent study that shows that 44% of men and 56% of women have been spiked. And of that percentile, 37% have been spiked multiple times.
Now, West Virginia is truly wonderful, but it's been getting a little bit too wild recently. A recent survey that we've conducted has determined that 96% have consumed alcohol in the past year. And of that, 61% have known a victim of spiking. This leaves 30% at home yearning for safety instead of going out.
And our competitors, they're fighting the same battle using the same tactics. From fingernail polish, drink testing kits, drink covers, they are all reactive measures that fail when you turn your back.
So say goodbye to these outdated relics of the past. Say hello to our innovative, proactive solution, the S-Cup. Our cup uses our universal technology that allows it to be controlled by a smart device, such as your phone. Once you're done drinking, simply put the lid back on the cup, put it into lockdown mode with a press of a button, and now no one is opening this cup or even tampering with it without setting it off.
Over the past year, we've made significant strides into refining our design, and we are now close to a final product. With that said, we took advantage of the iCorporate Initiative class and delved into the psyche of our demographic, college students who crave the freedom of the night but are shackled by fear. And those findings, well, those college students prefer going out to house parties, friend gatherings, and of course bars. We've learned that social media marketing will be most effective into attaining the attention of our demographic. We've learned of some new possible channels. And last, there's lack of resources given to universities to educate students on the importance of drink safety. But on the other hand, that path, it does come with some challenges. Like, for example, Jonathan, how are we going to address bar adoption?
Well, Marshawn, we will work with bar owners personally to facilitate the adoption of our technology.
Okay, and then what happens if they misplace their S-Cup?
Well, you can now go to our app and simply ping it.
As you can see, we've strategized and plotted, and we are now ready to partner with establishment and services to ensure that the S-Cup becomes a beacon of safety.
Our marketing strategy is two-pronged: a direct assault on the market through our website and Amazon, and a more strategic alliance through airports, universities, and retail titans such as Target. Now, our target market, that would be the lifeblood of house parties and gatherings, college students. We know that our possibilities are endless, but we will start our crusade in West Virginia before we set our eyes on horizons far beyond.
A team of 14 that operates as a tight-knit unit, leveraging each other's strengths, working towards a common goal. And whether that's brainstorming new ideas, troubleshooting challenges, or celebrating success, our team embodies the spirit of innovation, resilience, and camaraderie. And we envision the future of the S-Cup to allow people to socialize safely. But before we get into the future, we have to look at where we're at right now, which is positioning ourselves for the market. With that said, roughly around $7,000 will allow us to finish our app and website development, while $4,000 will allow us to obtain a provisional patent. Next, another $6,900 will allow us to kickstart our marketing efforts, and then we can commence a small manufacturing run out into the market to receive invaluable feedback with our early adopters to conclude with a finalized design.
Join us, and we can turn the tide of the real darkness against. We're gonna stop it. Stay safe, smart, and secure with CyberCups. Thank you, and we invite you to ask any questions.
There we go. I have a practical question, and I must have missed it and all the presentation and stuff that I've looked at. But how, if you're drinking and you don't want to put the cap on every time, I mean, do you have to put the cap on and press the button after every sip?
You will have to do that, but we have heard of your concerns as well, too. That's why our engineers, we are currently working on a model to where at the press of the button, there will be a flap, slide right on over, and relieve the need of the cap.
It should be noted that the cup is just a standard cup until you put it into a lockdown mode. See, it's not going off at all. It stays default locked until you press it.
Exactly.
I have probably a couple of questions.
Sure.
So if someone, is there something in there that tells you that someone's messed with the drink? So if I walk away from it for 10 seconds and the lid's off just like you have it there.
It's going to alert your smart device. That's
Okay.
where it's the proactive solution for it. So if you have a smart device on you, it'll send a notification to your application, and it'll let you know that your drink has been tampered with. Ultimately, up from there, I would hope that you still don't consume the beverage from it.
Yeah, what's the vehicle though that's notified? Like, how do you know that anything was tampered with at all? Like, I'm worried about like a false alarm type of situation. Like, is it just measure? Is it looking at is there an eye in there that looks a little liquid? Is it something that you could patent?
Right. Right. No, there's no eye in there at all. The simple mechanism just works simply by if you put it into lockdown mode and the tamper does go off, it's just letting you know that you're not the registered designated user, excuse me, for the device.
But that's if the lid's on it,
Yes.
correct? But if you left it like that, there'd be no way to know. Is that correct? Okay. And then the other question I had for this, if you looked in what the cost is to manufacturing, or you're still working on that?
Yes, no, we have worked into the cost of the manufacturing. So currently, our product cost is going to be roughly around $49.89, and that's with our partners of Avcom, SMT. They are a manufacturing company. Now, that obviously includes commercialization as well, too. Obviously, they provide us with the manufacturing material, so that way they can produce it. And ultimately, our retail price is going to be roughly around $99.89.
Great presentation, and definitely a problem we're solving. I was shocked by the statistics that 40, 50, 60% of the people have been spiked. I'm not sure that this particular product iteration, I actually liked some of your competitors that you mentioned having like a chemical coating that would detect it. That would be a really interesting direction to go. But my question is primarily around whatever product it is that you land on. What's going to be your method of distribution? Because your submission that you said initially was to go through nightclubs, and I think you're probably going to have a long selling cycle and a lot of churn if you do that.
I want to correct you right there. So last year we came out here, we went with a top-down approach. We're not doing that. We're going from a bottom-up approach. We are selling directly to college students. Again, we prefer going out to house parties and friend gatherings. When we work with bars, we are going to be working with the bars to check the user's beverage, so that way, they don't get hit with any type of legal fees or anything like that. So ultimately, once again, we're going to be offering workshop trainings to those bars to ensure that that designated user can bring their S cup into their establishment. We're not selling directly to bars, at least not quite yet.
How do you personalize each cup? If everybody in the university using that cup, how do I know is my cup or someone else's cup?
That's, again, just from the ping feature as well, too. So if you're out with a group of your friends and you're confused over which cup is yours, I just locked the phone, sorry about that. You can simply ping it, and that'll let you know which cup is yours.
But how are you doing that technically? Or are you not going to tell us, which is okay?
No.
I'm an IP lawyer.
I can't say that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no disclosure. I was curious if you were going to register this with the college licensing board or whatever that is, that you could then use all of the college logos on there and get it through Barnes & Noble and other places.
Yes, and that is part of our strategy as well, too. Once again, solidifying those partnerships with set universities. Now, obviously, we would like to go with student organizations such as fraternities and sororities, but ultimately, we like to work with deans as well, too, so that way we can get the licensing to these universities, and they can resell it even as well, too.
I've been to a few mug nights in my life, and I've seen everything from 5-gallon buckets to to whatever. But I guess my question is, this is kind of different, right? So how have you tested the market to see if students will actually maybe they put it in a purse to get it there, maybe they just put it in their back pocket. I don't know, but it seems like it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve to adopt this. So how have you tested the market to make sure there's a demand?
So we have given it out, we know that it's a demand based off of the statistics that we have, and we've included that with the documentations of what we submitted earlier. Secondly, to answer your second question, we have handed this out to a few of our select friends, roughly around 20. And originally we started out by them complaining about the size. As you can see, we have various sizes. They've also, of course, mobility. They don't want to have to carry around a big giant cup by their hand. So that's why we've included the adoption of a handle for easy use and care for mobility purposes. Next, we've also learned as well, too, that people like to customize and put their own creativity onto an S cup. So as you can see right here, for showcasing purposes, this demonstrates that we will have a feature in place so people can customize their own designated S cup.
So I'd also encourage you to check out a company called Constellation Brands.
Okay.
They own a lot of the beverage industry. Specialty beverage has been kind of taking off, so there's a lot of corporations that are doing investments, so you might consider going that direction.
I appreciate that.
Partners.
Thank you. We got any other questions? We still got 1 minute left. Thank you.
Okay, and we're back. Let's give a big round of applause to the Tech and Innovation category. That was phenomenal. All right, and I would like to, next slide, please. I would like to just revisit really quickly. We had a couple of folks live donating to the fund, so I just wanted to address another big round of applause and say thank you to all of our donors. So maybe just one more big round of applause for all of the folks that have donated. Thank you so much. Not only the funds, but your time and effort. I'd also like to thank our judges. So at this time, I am going to have all of our judges, and we have on the next slide which room and who you are going to follow. So the advisory council, you are going with me and Christian, and we're going to take the trophy and figure out where that's going. Main Street judges, you will be going to Hall 8 with Bella right here. And Tech and Innovation judges, you are going to Hall 9 with Claire right here. So thank you all very much, and we will have the awards 8 o'clock tonight in this room. So we will see you soon. Thank you.